Hey everyone, it's Amelia here from Undercover Architect. I wanted to jump quickly on live just while I was thinking of it to respond to a query that I got from Emma about a house that they've been looking at that doesn't have, they've discovered in the process obviously of putting an offer in that it doesn't have formal approval for a bunch of building works that have happened on it. And she asked sort of what the recourse is. Apparently the owner is reluctantly finding out what's involved in getting the work approved, and they fall in love with the house, and she's nervous that she can't really, what she should do in terms of finding out if it's safe to occupy, if the work's been done properly, all of those types of things. Now, you've got a few avenues here, and I know this from personal experience. We've done this with our property because when we started to make inquiries about this property that we bought in the Burren hinterland, as part of the negotiations of the contract, we went in and visited council and had a look at the approvals that were in place on the property to see what had been approved and what hadn't. And we found out that, a fair few things that are on the property hadn't been approved. And so then what we did was we found out what was involved in getting retrospective approval on them, what the costs of those approvals would be. We also worked out then what the cost would be in us documenting those things and getting the drawings done and getting consultants to help with signing things off. And then we negotiated with the vendor on that basis. So basically said to the agent, look, it's going to cost X amount of money for us to get approvals on all of these things that there's issues with. And I think at that time we said that we would go halves. And so we negotiated, was quite a sizable chunk of money off the sale price to take on that risk ourselves. Now, I did that knowing that, what was involved is obviously then getting a structural engineer out to have a look at the items and be able to certify the structure retrospectively and to be able to get a building certifier to do the same thing. Now, the trick is obviously if you find this with a property that you're looking at, and Emma, particularly for you, if you find this with this property that you're looking at, is being able to get some confidence that you will be able to get a structural engineer and a building certifier to be able to come to the property and check things out, and then also be willing to provide you with the various documentation to sign it off. So you'll actually have to get a retrospective approval with your council to get those things certified and to get approval on the building itself. Now, of course, the structural engineer is only going to be able to see what they can see. So they won't be able to see, obviously, what's in underneath the slab, potentially what's in behind the walls. So you do take on a certain amount of risk, and it's really up to you as to whether you're prepared to do that. So, but my recommendation would be for you to get some consultants out there to have a look at the property. Don't just trust the vendor to be doing that. If you want the property, then get informed yourself. It's not just a building inspector's job. It's not the normal building inspection work that you need to get done when you're negotiating a contract. You'll actually recommend getting a structural engineer and a private certifier out there, and them informing you what's involved in you getting that property retrospectively approved, and also understanding with the council. The biggest challenge and the biggest trick in all of this is that sometimes building works have been done to properties and haven't been approved because legally they shouldn't have been approved, and that they never would have got approval for them. And that's what you need to understand before you buy the property, what risk you're taking on. And, because the thing is, when you've got unapproved works, council is within their rights to instruct you to demolish it, all right? So, or to get an approval. Okay, so Emma, I hope that answers your questions. If you've got any more, please pop it in the comments below and I'll jump in and reply. All right, have a great evening, guys. See ya. Bye.